What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a new video. As you can see behind me, there's a new addition to the studio. That is a door tapestry of the Hindu goddess Kali, who I've loved for many, many years. I've worked with Kali for a very long time, over a decade, guys. I've always been attracted to that particular deity, that particular goddess. In the Hindu pantheon, I don't work with the Hindu pantheon all that often outside of Kali. I find Shiva really interesting. I find Ganesha interesting, but I don't work with them often. I tend to work with the Egyptian pantheon more often, and a few others, right? But Kali, technically I can't say that I rarely work with the Hindu pantheon because I work with Kali often. I just mean the pantheon at large. I do, however, find all these different pantheons interesting. Kali, to me, there's just something about her that I really, really love. She's similar in a sense to Lilith. She's also similar in a sense to Sekhmet. I'm not going to explain how, but if you do some research, you'll find that a lot of these different pantheons, they may have different gods and goddesses, but they represent similar or the same thing. It's like Apollo and Horus. Apollo is like the Greek version of Horus. And Horus is the Egyptian version of essentially Christ. The original Christ is Horus, but it goes back even further than that, guys. That's one of the reasons why I have an issue with mainstream Christianity. There's a lot of stuff that the Bible pulls from. It's like an amalgam of the mystery traditions. The Bible is an encoded occult text on how to awaken Kundalini and polish your spirit before leaving Earth, as well as like expanding your lifespan. The Bible is actually very, very interesting, but many people take it far too literally and they're unable to read between the lines. And unfortunately, the Bible makes it seem like the only path to salvation is through, for instance, like the Bible. And that's just not true. A lot of Christians will say that the only way to God is through Christ. And although that's very true, most Christians don't understand why that is. And it's because Christ is a state of consciousness that we experience, or that becomes us when Kundalini gets into the head after it's crucified at the mouth of God near the medulla oblongata. Kundalini energy is it pools or is backed up near the C1 and C2 vertebra. You guys hear the cars in the background? Kundalini temporarily, when it moves up the cerebral spinal system, up the Adam and Eve channels, it starts to pull up at the base of the skull near the medulla oblongata in a chakra, in a region, which it has its own chakra known as the mouth of God. The energy is temporarily crossed and crucified and is resurrected it ascends into the brain and turns on the king and the queen's chamber, the pineal and the pituitary glands. When this happens, you guys, the 12 apostles of Christ, or the 12 main cranial nerves, are activated, and it causes a flooding into the brain of something known as Amrita, or the elixir of immortality. What's another name for this? Soma. Ambrosia of the gods, the nectar of the gods. There's multiple different names for this substance that is released through Kundalini getting into the head, right? And once that happens, you experience Christ consciousness. When you experience Christ's consciousness, you become God. God merges with you, you guys, because that's what you are. When the Creator creates something, it doesn't separate itself from its creation. But we are a God species that's actually asleep. And the bigwigs that like to run the show here, the quote experts, have created a playpen, essentially, that I like to call the Matrix, that what happens, you guys, is by living in this disgusting land of the bottom feeder, it's designed in a way to keep Kundalini energy from flowing. That's what the Matrix is all about, you guys. It's a prison system, but you don't know how to read. Most people don't know how to read between the lines and see that. They don't know that their consciousness is enslaved, and that the world that they live in, the Matrix, is a jungle gym, essentially. It's designed to keep gnosis, or the spark within you, from turning into a flame. I'm speaking in metaphors here for the Kundalini. Kundalini can rise in this matrix, you guys, but it's very devastating to the individual that experiences it, because You guys, this world is actually, we're all targeted. We are all targeted, some of us more than others. But when you wake Kundalini up, you really become a targeted individual. I'm not the first person to say this. People that have had authentic Kundalini awakenings know what I'm talking about. The military-industrial complex, you guys, one of their biggest fascinations is how to make a super soldier, and Kundalini is the most direct, natural way to do that without transhumanism, without microchips in your head, etc. Kundalini has been studied by our government extensively for a very long time, guys. You're never going to hear about this elsewhere. Or that's not necessarily true, but you guys, I'm here to tell you that there's multiple projects, secret projects to study Kundalini and learn how to turn it on to create superhumans. You see, the world doesn't work the way that you think it does. So when Kundalini gets into the head, you guys, you become sanctified. Whoops. But it gets crucified at the neck, right? And if you look at this picture of Kali, she's holding a severed head. That is largely symbolic of the crucifixion of Christ that happens at this point. We're at the neck, or the head meets the neck, the medulla oblongata, right? I mean, some people would look at this and think that it looks gory and violent. This is all symbolism, guys. My chair's making noise. All of these arms, these hands, what that symbolizes, guys, is there's multiple different forms of symbolism, or there's multiple different, what's the word I'm looking for, ways to interpret this. But one of them, these hands, what it represents, guys, is that her consciousness can reach beyond the visible light spectrum. It's in multiple dimensions at once. See what I'm saying? She's in multiple dimensions at once while being anchored in a physical body. So I'll go over the symbolism of this in the future. You notice that she also has a trident, also known as a trishuli. This is the Sushumna, the central channel that runs through the spine. This is the two other nadis. There's multiple nadis, or energetic pathways, they're called, that Kundalini moves up the cerebral spinal system. This main channel is the Sushumna. And these other points are the Adam and Eve channels, the Shiva and Shakti channels, the Artemis and Apollo channels, the Samael and Lilith channels. This is symbolic of Kundalini energy in the state of consciousness that is achieved. This is known as Heru beheaded. When Kundalini gets into the head after it's been crucified, the head now, see the bindi, has complete jurisdiction over the demons of the lower energetic chakra system in the lower self. So although this looks gory, this is actually symbolic of Heru beheaded. The Kundalini is now in the head and now controls everything below, which has been cut off. This happens at the C1, C2 vertebra points in the human spine. It happens near those points, near the medulla oblongata. So this is also symbolic of the ego being sacrificed, guys. There's multiple different ways you can interpret this. Multiple. You got some snake symbolism down here, you guys. And then I'm going to do a complete Kali demystified video. I have one already, but it's not as extensive as it should be. And I'll show you guys my other Kali stuff. I've got statues, all sorts of great stuff. Mantras that I use. Yantras that I use to Kali. So Kali is one of the goddesses that I work with extensively. I also like working with Horus out of the Egyptian pantheon. I like working with Hecate. I naturally, and it's been like this for a long time, my interests align more with like the night side, the nocturnal, or like nocturnal deities, gods and goddesses. And we'll talk about that in the near future, as well as like the vampiric deities. Vampirism is a really, really interesting subject, and the archetype of the vampire can be a very, very valid path to gnosis, guys. I don't want to make this a huge rant about vampirism, but the vampire archetype for someone who's had Kundalini, a Kundalini experience, can be very powerful. You see, having archetypes to resonate with and work with is a very powerful thing. Once you experience Kundalini, the world's going to flip inside out and you're going to need some assistance. And the gods and the goddesses can help. But these gods and goddesses aren't what we've been led to believe. It's like a filing cabinet. They're different energies. And by working with the gods and goddesses, you can evoke those energies and invoke them. You can use these deities, gods, goddesses, etc., their archetypes, essentially, to transform certain parts of yourself, as well as to gain strength, wisdom, knowledge, etc. So that's one of the reasons why I keep a Spawn figure around, guys. Spawn is not just Spawn. This is a Gnostic being. It's a Gnostic archetype and a very powerful one. This is Spawn. Oh God, what is the name of this? Series 26, issue 7, I believe. One of my favorite characters. Spawn. I've always been into Spawn. That's one of the most. This is one of the best looking Spawn figures ever made, in my opinion. They're around $50 new, and they'll probably only go up in value. But this Spawn is on the front of comic number 7. This Spawn is figured after the art on the cover of figure 7. What the hell happened to this thing? The chain got all fucked up. We'll have to fix that afterwards. But yeah, this is a very good looking figure, guys. So I like having Spawn figures around me. I also like keeping statues around me of different gods and goddesses, etc. I'm not going to show my collection because some of this stuff is personal. I don't want wandering eyes on it. The occult is a personal thing. Like, I am an occultist, and you're only seeing a small, tiny fraction of myself here on this channel. The tiniest fraction. And although I wish I had more time to share content with you guys, I'm glad that... I don't want to sound like a dick, but certain things are personal. Guys, certain things shouldn't be advertised, at least in my opinion. So I do my best to show as much as I can without going too far. And again, those of you watching, I'm sure there's certain things that you hold dear to your heart and you don't want shared with the public. And it's not that I don't trust people, it's just that it does. I want it to myself, right? So I do my best to share as much content publicly as I can while still keeping the majority of my life private. Because I am an occultist. 99% of what I do is in private. So people might think that they have me figured out here. You don't. I'm just saying. This is Cogliostro, another Spawn figure. Cogliostro, I don't know if you guys can hear my cats, but they're whining and whining and whining. Cogliostro is he becomes like a mentor to Spawn in the comics. And Cogliostro is fascinating in the Spawn HBO series. I have that on DVD. I suggest everybody get that. Study those DVDs. Study the messages in that movie or in those shows. It was hosted by, or HBO produced this in the early 90s. It's amazing. That I like the Spawn comics, guys, but there's certain issues that piss me off, where they got way too childish, and it's because they had multiple different writers, multiple different illustrators. But the Spawn HBO animated series, it's perfect, you guys. It is Spawn in a very mature sense. It's dark, it's gritty, it's very symbolic. There's a lot of Gnostic symbolism in the HBO miniseries. Guys, be quiet. They're standing at the door whining. It's obnoxious. And I can't let them in here because I have way too much expensive gear and books. They'll chew everything. But we've spoiled them so much that they expect attention at all times and they hate when the door's shut. But Spawn becomes Cogliostro becomes a mentor to Spawn. Cogliostro at one point in time was a Hell Spawn who redeemed himself, right? So he got rid of Hell's influence, the Archon's influence. Cogliostro is beautifully, I don't want to, not illustrated, what's the word? The way that they did Cogliostro in the animated series is way better, in my opinion, than in the comics. Not only does he look better, and not only is he more mature in the animated series, it's perfect. Somehow, some way, the gods were invoked in the people that worked on the animated series, and they pretty much got everything perfect. The only thing I don't like about the animated series is the way that it was ended, and I wish that they would have continued it. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed for a continuation of the animated series, but I really doubt that we'll get one. And to be honest, you guys, nowadays Hollywood, etc., films, a lot of the stuff is just like it's destroyed. Hollywood is dead, you guys. They have ruined so many movies. They have ruined so many series. Like, look at what they did to Star Wars, guys. It's an embarrassment what they did to Star Wars. They brought in woke political messages and propaganda into Star Wars, and they have fucking ruined it. They've ruined it. I've said this once and I'll say it again. Look at what they did to, what's the name of that movie? Not The Better Saints of Newark. The Sopranos movie. I can't remember the exact name. Absolute embarrassment. Absolute embarrassment, you guys. So I kind of hope that they don't bring. I want the Spawn animated series to come back, but at the same time, I almost don't, because I'm afraid they're going to ruin it, because they ruin everything. If Todd McFarlane, the creator of Spawn, is the one doing most of is directing it, I think it would be perfect. But I don't know. It's the people funding the show that I worry about. Because a lot of these new movies and shows are made, you guys, with stipulations. Yeah, I'm not going to get into it. We've talked about that in the past. Whoops. I'm not going to bore you guys with some rant about this, where I already have a video on this. Check out, I'll put a link in the description box below if you want to watch it, about the death of Hollywood and the death of video games. But this Monday, guys, we're going to launch up an RPG and do a Let's Play. So if you're interested in that, if you want to watch me play the Elder Scrolls Oblivion, the Elder Scrolls Morrowind, the Elder Scrolls Skyrim, let me know. Leave a comment in the comment section. We're going to do a playthrough. I'm going to make a character just for this channel, and I'm only going to play that particular character when I'm recording. So if you're interested in the Let's Play series, I'm finally getting around to doing it. I've been meaning to do this for quite some time, but again, things are crazy. I have, do I have over 12 cats? I think we have 13 cats. So don't ask me, it's just life threw all these animals in our direction, and we accepted the challenge. I never thought that I would have this many cats, nor would I normally want this many cats, but it's a pain in the ass, but I love them all, and I wouldn't want it any other way. It's just a lot of souls to give attention to, right? But things have been pretty busy lately. But anyways, you guys, I want to show you guys the studio. It's been a while since I've done an update on the studio. So let's pause really quick and I'll show you kind of the current status of the studio. There's stuff that you're not going to be able to see in this following video because I'll explain it in the following video. So let's get right into it. All right, folks, quick break to show you the current status of the studio. I need to put more paint on the walls. I need to paint the crown molding, the ceiling, and I need to redo the flooring. But I've been real busy lately and I've just been zapped. So this weekend, I'm going to get around to finishing painting the trim, putting a second coat of paint on the wall, and I'm going to try to get to the crown molding. And then I'm going to start shopping around for new flooring, because that color doesn't really resonate with the green and the black. I don't think so, at least. So I also think it doesn't clash well with the gray Sedita desk. So I found some really neat flooring that looks like black shungite, and I think I'm going to go with that. So this is the Sedita desk. This is a 67-inch Sedita desk. These are really cool, guys. If you're looking for a good desk, look at Sedita. But this is a little unorganized right now. I've got some batteries up here. I've got this set of HyperX Cloud 3 headphones. These are wired. These are amazing. And this is a $13 headphone stand that I got on Amazon that I'm really happy with. It's plastic. It feels a little janky, but it holds, and the spring is really tight, so it holds my headphones up here. I use these for editing. These sound amazing, you guys. You can also put a microphone on these, and the mic comes with the headphones. I just have no need to use the microphone because I'm using this DJI Mic Mini that John hooked me up with, which is about 1,000 times better than the microphone on these HyperX Cloud 3s. Got a new picture of Kali. I'm probably going to move it. I don't know how I feel about it being on the door like this. This thing is awesome. It looks way better in person than in camera. And on Amazon, where I bought this, it looked dull. The pictures didn't look all that great, but these look amazing in person. It's got sequins on it. It's really hard to see on camera for some reason. Thing looks awesome. Got some Spawn figures. I like to keep stuff in my work environment that I resonate with, and I've always resonated with Kali. Got this really neat spine tapestry, guys. I think this was like 11 bucks on Amazon. I've had this for over a year now, but I finally have somewhere to put it. Again, I've got to finish painting that trim. I'm going to get to that this weekend. This room will look so much better when it's done with paint. As you can see over here, there's stuff that I have not finished yet. Guys, I've been really busy. I work on this as I have free time, but I've got a lot of it done, but there still is quite a bit left to do. So this is not just like I wanted to put a lot of time and effort into this. So this is, although like a good amount of it's done, you guys are going to be shocked at how much different it looks when it's completely done with the floors, etc. I'm going to put in some ceiling panels. These really neat, like Gothic style ceiling panels that come in these square, they're like 16 by 16 squares, and you put them up. It's going to look awesome. This is I usually use 2 of these when I'm shooting footage, but with the amount of light coming in the back window, I only need 1. So John hooked me up with a bunch of camera gear and a couple really generous financial donations, and I was able to get a set of these Neewer NL480s with his donation. These are amazing, you guys. There's 480 light diodes in each of these. I'll show you what the back looks like. You can adjust the yellow. Look at how much more yellow the room gets. So if you've been wondering why I look yellow in my videos, it's because I've been toying with this setting. Or you can turn it all the way down, right, and turn all the white light up. I like a little bit of yellow, but too much makes me look like I have jaundice, but a little bit of yellow looks really good. So anyways, guys, this Sedita desk can be built in 4 different fashions. It's called a convertible desk. You can actually arrange this so it's one long desk, and it's like, I think it's almost 100 inches, which is a little too big for this room. I wanted an L-style desk so that I could have like a little cubby to sit in, because this wall is angled, right, in an L shape of sorts. So it's like I have my own little office here, which is really neat. I might even get a carpet for underneath this desk. I'm not sure yet. But let me show you guys what I'm working with here. A lot of my camera gear is behind me, because some of the gear, you guys, I don't want to show in this video because I'm going to wait to show it in the second unboxing video. John sent out a bunch of additional stuff. You guys are going to be shocked when you see what he sent me, but I don't want to show it quite yet. This is God, what is the name of this? An Archer T4U. This is a wireless adapter. If you guys have internet issues, it might not be your provider. A lot of people complain about their provider having slow internet. It might be your onboard wireless card on your laptop, computer, etc. My Dell computer is a pretty strong computer, but the manufacturer really slacked when it came to the wireless card. So if I'm not using this on my laptop, I can't even get internet back here, right? My download speeds are like 100 times faster when using this. My upload speeds onto YouTube are even faster. And these antennas, you can move them. These are high gain antennas for range. So guys, I'm really, really happy with this. I have 2 of these. These are amazing. So what you do is you just plug it into your laptop or computer via USB, and it replaces your onboard wireless card, your networking card. And wow, has this made a difference. You can also bend these forward or backwards. Awesome, awesome setup, guys. It was like 23 bucks. And if your router has Wi-Fi 5 compatibility, you can get the next model up from this, which is even faster and has better range. So my Nighthawk, I think it's a Netgear Nighthawk, my router, it doesn't have Wi-Fi 5 compatibility. So I needed this that works with Wi-Fi 4. But I'm probably going to get a new router in the next month or so, just because I really need as fast of internet as I can get, especially out here in the boonies, right? I do not get cell phone signals or service out here, guys. I live in the middle of nowhere. This is a Kingston XS100R or a 1000R. I can't remember. This is a portable SSD, a solid state drive. This thing is amazing. This is almost $100 for this. So a good mid-range portable SSD is not going to be cheap. But you guys, I know some people who would pay a couple $1,000s for what's on this. I've spent the last 10 years, actually more than 10 years, closer to 15 years, hoarding rare occult information, books, etc. This drive, as well as my other drives, have my collections of rare material that's taken me, again, over a decade to accumulate. So there's a lot of books that people are looking for that they can't find that's on this. So, and I know because I'm not going to get into it. All I'm going to say, guys, is that the pursuit of occult knowledge and the collecting of occult knowledge is it's one of my biggest thrills. It's one of my biggest hobbies. I love finding rare materials and collecting them. And it's not just e-materials that I collect. Behind me, I have thousands of dollars worth of rare occult first edition books. Thousands of dollars. Did I spend that much? No. Because what I do is I use magic to manifest books or rare materials that I need or want. I use magic to manifest them at a low price. There's a book I'm looking at behind me that I just recently got for $100 that regularly sells for over $1,500. The guy that was selling it didn't know what he had. You might say that that's kind of manipulative. I don't care. The pursuit of knowledge to me is I don't care. I really don't care. If you're going to put something on eBay, it's your job to find out what it's worth. And I'm not going to share the name of that author because the materials are also already very, very scarce. And if I blurt the name out, it means that there's going to be more eyes on these materials, which reduces my chance of getting all the books. So I'm very selfish when it comes to the accumulation of knowledge. And you should be too. You should thirst for wisdom. Thirst for knowledge, guys. So I do share a lot of rare material over on my Patreon page. Links in the description box below. Books, etc. But guys, there's so much knowledge out there, right? So much knowledge. I'm really pretty happy with this color, guys. I was worried that this green wouldn't work, but it works really, really well back here. So I've got a walking stick over there. I'll show you guys that in a minute. I've got a hand-painted picture of the Baphomet, which I wish I could show you, but I can't because of some sensitive material on the painting. These are boom arms, guys. These hold microphones. So I've got a bunch of blue snowball ices, they're called. Here, I'm going to go around this, get over there, and then I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. All right, guys, forgive the dirty floors. I need to vacuum back here. But these are the microphones I'm talking about. I've got 4 of them, actually. There's 3 of them down here, but I have 4 of them. So these thread on to this adapter right here, right? These are really good microphones, but they really only work well if you dial them in, and it's not all that easy. You got to do a lot of research. Otherwise, out of the box, these don't sound that great. So John sent out a DJI Mic Mini that I showed you guys in the first unboxing video, and that's what I'm using to record the audio in this video. This mic that I'm using, the DJI mic, sounds about 1,000,000 times better than these. So I'm pretty much, I don't know what I'm going to do with these. I'll probably keep them just for backups. I've got white ones, black ones, etc. But these boom arms, what they do is they hold the microphone. And it makes it really convenient because you can keep the microphone in front of your face. But what I've been doing is I've been attaching the DJI Mic Mini magnetically to this side of the boom arm. And then I can just leave the boom arm there, keep it within a good distance from my mouth, and it'll hold my mic up. But these boom arms are really neat. They're both, that one's a newer, I can't remember what brand that is. But guys, look at this. That's a green screen pole that holds this. There's another NL480. But look at this walking stick. This was at one point in time covered in bark. And I've used a knife to whittle a lot of the bark off, and I've sanded this. I've put hours and hours and hours of work into this. I've used a jigsaw on this to cut knots off the wood. I've shaped the wood up here with a jigsaw. Like, this did not used to look like this. So this is a very unique piece of wood. It looks like, I don't know, this piece of wood was at the house in the shed when I moved here. So the prior homeowners left this, but it looks like it was a limb or a branch at one point that got something stuck in here and it bent the wood and it cured in this neat shape. I hope that makes sense. So let me show you the end of this. Isn't that neat? So I'm going to keep sanding on this. It's been a while since I've worked on this, and I need to shape this, the rest of this, but I will eventually stain this, and I'm probably going to put some type of crystal in here or an animal skull. It's going to be awesome when it's done. So this is a power object, guys. I've used this in many rituals, many meditations. It's a power object. Read Daniel Shulk's book, The Viridirium Umbris, and read about trees. Trees are far more than you've been led to believe that they are. So yeah, guys, just a brief little update about the studio, right? Showing you guys some stuff. I've got some stuff underneath the desk that I put under there before I shot this, because I'm going to wait to show you guys what's in those in the next unboxing video. Really amazing stuff. I'm actually going to get storage for down here, guys. So I love this desk. The only thing it needs is extra storage. I've got a lot of stuff. So this is a large mat to put on top of the desk to protect it. I need to put that back on. Just haven't gotten around to doing it. This guy's over here is a dehumidifier. This is an essential tool for anyone who collects rare books. This pulls so much moisture out of the air. And if you have a high moisture area that you keep your books in, the pages of your book will absorb that. Excess moisture is really bad for books. So dehumidifier is essential. This is a 2-life or a toe-life. I think it says 2-life. Dehumidifier. These are the best humidifiers that I've been able to find. This has only been on for a couple of days. And look at all the water. Can you guys see that? These fill up real quick. Real quick. So, in the unboxing videos, I'm going to show you guys this backpack, what's in it, etc. That is the nicest backpack. I love that thing. I can put all my gear in there for the most part and head out. It's hard to see, but look at this. Even the color scheme is awesome. This gray, white, and blue. It's beautiful. I absolutely love this backpack. It's like a thick canvas material, and it can get wet without it getting saturated, and it comes with a rain cover even. But yeah, guys, just a quick little studio update. And let's get back to the video. So yeah, things are moving along swimmingly, you guys. When this studio is done, you're going to be shocked at what it looks like. There's still quite a bit of work that needs to be done. But again, it's a matter of finding the time to do it. So I need to put more black paint on the walls. I need to put more green on the walls in certain spots. I need to paint the door. I need to do the crown molding, and the crown molding is going to look really neat because I'm going to dry brush it. And like the crown molding that's around this room has like this delicate, intricate kind of filigree on it, these patterns. So I'm going to paint I'm going to put a base coat down and then dry brush over the patterns. I'm not 100% sure what colors I'm going to go with yet, but it's going to look awesome. We did something similar to that in the living room along the front wall, and it looks beautiful. Maybe I'll show you guys that in the future. Maybe we'll do a tour of the house when it's done. But again, the house there's a lot of painting and a lot of work that needs to get done. A house, you guys, having a house is like, it's I never really realized how time consuming a home is until I moved out. And like there was a point where we were renting and the landlord had to take care of a lot of the stuff, even though he was a pain in the ass. But having your own house, you guys, it's a lot of work. I'm not complaining. I love it. I wouldn't want it any other way. But, you know, like from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep, I'm going. So this weekend, I have a lot of time. So I think I'm going to try to record as much content as possible. And that way I can just edit the footage and upload it next week when I'm going to be busy. So anyways, you guys. But yeah, as I mentioned in the prior video, hoarding rare occult materials I've been obsessed with this for a very long time. It started years ago, you guys, and like this is a terabyte. This is a terabyte, which it sounds like a lot of information, but it's really not. You can put a lot of data on a terabyte, but if you've got like large video files, like I have hundreds of rare occult lectures, etc., that I can't find on YouTube anymore, and many of them are over a gigabyte. Many of them are over 3 gigabytes. So I have multiple different drives, multiple regular hard drives, and a few different SSDs, and I store all the stuff on these. And a lot of the videos that I have, I'm going to start putting on DVD-R just in case these break. Physical media is the way to go, guys. Physical media. I cannot fucking stand ebooks. I cannot handle or stand streamable music. It's obnoxious. On top of that, you guys, what's going to happen if the internet goes out and you can't stream your shit? Another thing, and to add insult to injury, excuse me, the quality of music on streaming platforms is nowhere near as good as, for instance, a CD or a vinyl. So there's an attack on sound. Sound is much more important than people realize, and music can animate and move your soul. Music is a pivotal piece, in my opinion, to entering into a shamanic fluid state of consciousness, as well as waking up the Kundalini. You can actually experience Kundalini awakenings from the way that music moves you. But the speakers nowadays, a sound has been assaulted, you guys. This is one of the reasons why music connoisseurs, people that really love listening to music, they only use certain like vintage speakers, because vintage speakers sounded way better. You got more of the musical range, right? There's an attack on that range, and I can't remember what they call it, whether it's hertz or... I need to do some research and we'll do a video about it, because there was a deliberate attack on sound, guys. On sound. So I never really understood why people said vinyl was so much better than CDs until one of my uncles has a incredible vintage sound system, and he's got a ton of these old psychedelic CDs, like 60s psychedelic music, or he's got it on vinyl. What am I saying? It is amazing how good vinyl sounds when the speakers are tuned. It's incredible. Like music can take you to a different dimension, guys. It can move you. It can move you to like these different, like it can shift your assemblage point temporarily. It can put you into a new state of consciousness. But most of the music that I listen to nowadays, guys, is like meditation music. Music that I listen to while I'm in my inner temple or doing my meditations. I like shamanic drumming. I like dark ambient music. I love nature sounds. I don't listen to a wide spectrum, if you will, of different artists, like typical music. A lot of the music that I listen to is it's meditation music. You know what a really, really good set of CDs is, guys? They can work wonders for your meditations, and I've actually had Kundalini awakenings while listening to these albums. Write this down. You're going to want to check it out. Carl Sanders, the lead guitarist for the death metal band Nile, did his own side project where he did like this. It's like this Middle Eastern themed. I don't even know how to explain it. You should just listen to it. It's like ritual music. It is incredible. I've listened to these albums from beginning to end so many times. I love these. They have a special place in my heart. Carl Sanders' Saurian Meditations is CD 1. And his second album is Carl Sanders' Saurian Exorcism. You're going to want to check these out, you guys. They are incredible. Listen to the song Curse the Sun. Listen to the song Kali Ma, the Elder God Shrine, the Temple of Lunar Ascension. Contemplate this on the Tree of Woe, Dreaming Through the Eyes of Serpents. This stuff is incredible. So check it out, guys. I also really like Two Steps from Hell. They have an album called Invincible. That's their best album. That music is so fucking perfect for ritual magic, ceremonial magic, etc. Listen to Heart of Gold. Listen to Moving Mountains, which is one of my favorites. Defender of the Earth, I think it's called. Like that whole entire album is immaculate. There is not another Two Steps from Hell album that's a masterpiece like that. A lot of the newer stuff is just, it doesn't have the magic that it once did. So music works wonders for ritual magic. Are you doing the pentagram rituals? Well, get some Two Steps from Hell going and watch what happens. Music can help put you in a different state of mind. It can help alter your consciousness, and music can help nudge you to that point that you need to get to. So are you having issues entering into a fluid state of consciousness where you have perceptual fluidity in your ritual magic or your shamanic work? Then get the right music, guys. It can help push you. It can give you like a 10% boost. It can give you a head start or just help tip you in the right direction. I hope that makes sense. So, man, it's just amazing though, you guys, to kind of end this rant. The assault that we're all under. They've gone after sound. They've actually manipulated the sound standards, guys, and I wish I knew what it was, the exact, the correct terms to explain this, but I am going to do a bit of research, and we'll do a video about this. Sound has been attacked. The water that you drink that comes out of your sink has been attacked. The air is filled full of nanotechnology, smart dusts, radioactive isotopes, aluminum, barium, strontium, mylar fibers, chaff. Everything has been fucking destroyed. And that's by design, guys. And I know many people might think I sound negative and, oh, I'm being a fearmonger. Guys, if you're not upset at the way things are, then you're not conscious. You are not paying attention. And you can say that, oh, you have no inner peace and blah, 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 blah. You're so angry and all this other crap that some people like to say. No, I have plenty of inner peace, you guys, but I'm irritated at the way that things are because this biosphere has been fucking destroyed. I don't mean like how would I explain this? It's not just the biosphere. They've manipulated our atmosphere. They've put poison pretty much in everything, including the fucking air. It's disgusting. And on top of that, we have millions of NPCs walking around with a programmed software in their mind. The people are programmed. Guys, they literally are NPCs. They have no free mind. They don't. And there's probably a good chance that people that stumble across this video, you're enslaved. You're an NPC too. And again, I'm not pointing my fingers at anyone in particular, but this programming, you're not above it, guys. We're all influenced by it. So if you think you have a free mind, if you think that you have your Kundalini awakened, but you can't perform miracles, stop lying to yourself. Stop. I'm not claiming to have my Kundalini awake. I will, however, say that I've experienced this on a handful of occasions. I've had, I can't speak today, multiple full-blown Kundalini awakenings. And an awakening will change your biology. For the Westerner, more often than not, Kundalini wakes up, you have this amazing experience, and then the serpent. I don't want to say it falls back down the spine, but our bodies just don't have the capability to hold on to this electrical charge. They've fucked with our body somehow, and so much of our DNA has been turned into what's called junk DNA that our body just doesn't have the fortitude anymore to hold on to the electrical charge of Kundalini. But even when that experience fades away, you will be changed forever. It creates long-term changes to the biology, to the consciousness, to the cells, to the mitochondria. The list goes on and on and on. I don't even know where I was going with that, you guys. I'm just amazed because this is a battlefield and most people cannot see it. We are in the midst of a battle, guys. Your biofield has been turned off. How they did this, I wish I knew. But even if you read The Secret Covenant, I think I have a video about that here on my YouTube channel. The Secret Covenant, I don't think it's a real document. I think someone made it up to try to simplify some of the key tenets of how the New World Order operates, but there is a chance that it is real, but I really don't think it is. But regardless, the Secret Covenant, you guys, find that on Google or DuckDuckGo preferably. Type in the Secret Covenant PDF and read through it. It's basically a manual on how to keep people enslaved. Allegedly, this document was found, I think, in a photocopier in an office that was rented out to a large group of people that had they had a meeting there and then they left. They just rented the building, but they used the photocopier. Do you really think, guys, that the New World Order or these secret societies would be that sloppy? Come on. Someone made this up. I would put all my money on that. But regardless of the fact that I think that that document is fraudulent and made up, it hits some nails right on the head. One of the things that's brought up in the Secret Covenant is about how they will shower us with poison everywhere. You know what? Let me see if I can find it. I'll be right back, and then we'll read it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, continuing. I'm sure you can hear the trucks in the background. Today's a heavy traffic day. I live in the middle of a coal mining operation, and what you're hearing is semis taking coal from the mine to the treatment facility. Sometimes it's dead quiet. You don't hear a single soul. And then sometimes this fucking street is like a freeway for these semis. So I apologize for that. I recorded an additional 10 to 15 minutes of content, but when I went to review it, the audio didn't work, and I'm pretty sure I know why that's the case. I don't think I'd linked the mic mini. I'd turned the camera off, and I think it's either the receiver or the transmitter wasn't on, and I thought it was. So unfortunately, I lost that content, but it is what it is, guys. Here's another truck. Man, it can be really obnoxious. It's funny because you hear them all? I live in the middle of nowhere, but this road sometimes is just vroom, vroom, vroom of just truck after truck after truck. So it's weird to live in a spot where there's hardly anyone living out here, but there's just a ton of trucks and traffic. It's not always like that though. But yeah, you guys, I just wanted to wrap this video up. I just wanted to tell you what happened with the additional content. I've got the kittens out here right now. They're getting some outside time. But yeah, I'll make sure that from now on the mic is linked up. I must have just spaced it or spaced out and I didn't double check to make sure that the microphone was linked up. So I got the chicken coop behind me, you guys. A lot of awesome content is going to be coming this spring about the chicken coop. I'm going to document getting the chickens, getting the rooster. I'm going to show you guys what I feed them. I'm going to show you guys what I supplement the chickens. This is going to be awesome. The price of eggs is through the roof right now. It's disgusting how expensive eggs are. But a chicken coop is a really good way to circumvent that. I'll be able to get fresh, home-raised eggs every single day. I'll be able to cook with them and put them in my venom shake. So if you haven't checked out my venom shake yet, guys, you need to check that out. Today, someone got a hold of me with a personal testimonial about the positive effects that the venom shake's been having on him. So a lot of people over the past couple of years have reached out and said, damn, that venom shake really works. It's kind of a nootropic in a sense, you guys. It's got a bunch of healthy fats in it for your brain. So make sure to check out the venom shake if you haven't seen that recipe yet. I have 2 videos about it, and you're also going to want to check out the bone marrow vitality elixir. There's multiple different adaptations and variants of the original basic formula of the venom shake. So we need to do some additional Serpent's Kitchen episodes where I show you guys how to make those variants, because there's a multitude of different ways that you can make the venom shake. The recipe that's currently available here on YouTube for streaming is just the basic foundation. It's like the scaffolding of the venom shake, but you can add things like creatine monohydrate, branched chain amino acids, spirulina. You really want to, and I'm surprised, I don't know if I mentioned this in the original formula, the video, but you really want to add a digestive enzyme complex to your venom shake. Right? Especially if you're going to be taking the venom shake before you eat like a solid meal, which is how I suggest using it. I break my fast with the venom shake, and then I slowly kind of eat it over a period of time. I chew it, I mix my saliva with it, but it does have a digestive enzyme complex in it. And then after I have the venom shake, I let it digest for like 5 to 10 minutes, and then I eat my main meal. I intermittent fast. I'm 99% of the time, I'm going at least 16 hours a day without food in my system, and I almost always break my fast with the venom shake and or the bone marrow vitality elixir. I have not been consuming the bone marrow vitality elixir lately because I'm having trouble finding quality bone marrow in this part of Virginia. And if you're going to consume that, you got to make sure that you're using the best of the best. Consuming raw animal products can be dangerous. But if you do things right, you can mitigate a lot of that danger. So I'm not suggesting that you consume raw eggs, which is like the basic foundation of the venom shake. I'm just telling you what works for me and what continues to work for me, and as well as what works for many others. Again, I've received a bunch of testimonials since I published that video about people that say that the venom shake has really helped them with cognitive performance, strength, energy levels, etc. So the body requires 90 essential nutrients. And in the near future, I'll show you guys how to make sure that the venom shake has an adequate amount of the 90 essentials in it. Again, the venom shake recipe that's available on YouTube right now is just the basic skeleton. It's the basic foundation, but that can be modified in a multitude of different ways so that you can ensure that you get an adequate flow of the 90 essentials, which consist of vitamins, amino acids, essential fatty acids, and minerals. Vitamins, amino acids, essential fatty acids, and minerals, right? So this is a really large chicken coop. It may not look like it on camera, but it's a pretty fucking large chicken coop, guys. We got this big walnut tree above the chicken coop that needs to come down because that thing is going to fall on the house. There's thousands of trees around here, and some of them need to come down. Shiva! All right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap this one up. My cats are trying to get out. Keep an eye out for new content. We've got a lot coming. May peace be with you all. One last question before we wrap this video up. Do any of you guys work with any specific gods and goddesses, deities, elementals, spirits, etc.? If so, leave a comment in the comment section letting me know which ones. I'm interested to hear from you guys. We all have different interests, right? And it's interesting to me how different deities, gods, goddesses, pantheons, etc., they resonate with people differently than, you know what I mean? What am I trying to say? Excuse me. Everybody has their own unique interests, and certain things resonate with certain people, whereas certain things don't. We all have our own, again, unique kind of attraction to different things. I've always been a huge fan of the darker deities, for instance, Kali or Hecate. But I also work with gods like Horus and Anubis and Osiris and Re-Nunet. And I use these as like energy pylons to tap into specific energetic wavelengths and then invoke them within me or evoke them to my environment. Does that make sense? So you can do a lot of really awesome work with these different gods and goddesses. God, I can't remember the name of the book. I used to have this amazing book. It was like a dictionary of deities. I can't remember, and I think there was over 300 or 400 different deities. Getting books like that can be a lot of fun to look through, right? You can, in this book, almost all the deities in the book and the gods and goddesses had their own like illustrations, right? And ways to call upon them. So getting books like that, you guys, can be a really awesome thing. They're a ton of fun to look through. But what was I just going to say to you guys? Damn it. There was something I wanted to... Oh, we're going to be doing breakdowns of the symbolism in like Greek mythology, Norse mythology, Egyptian mythology, etc. Because here's the thing, guys. In the same way that many people don't know how to read between the lines when they read their Bible, they take it literally. A lot of people take mythology literally. For instance, Greek mythology, when in fact, these are like code systems. Information, occult knowledge is embedded in these myths, these legends, etc. And more often than not, just like many other things here in this world, a lot of it relates to the Kundalini energy and the metamorphosis that ensues when Kundalini moves up the spine. Right? Because Kundalini takes man, takes woman, and turns them into gods, goddesses, etc., right? And that's what a lot of the mythologies are about. A lot of the myths also are about the hero's journey, which is also, the hero's journey can be found in your... one of my outside cats is here, Titan. He doesn't come around as much. He's the father of all my kittens. What's up, T? But mythology, you guys, studying mythology can be a very rewarding thing, especially to those of you who are on the path. Because if you can learn to read between the lines and see the encoded messages in mythology, it's like a code that you can live by. You can take the myths, the legends, the stories, etc., and apply them to your life and experience the transmogrifying process of that knowledge. Does that make sense? Because mythology, a lot of the information can be applied. The hero's journey is encoded in a lot of the myths, right? For instance, Perseus and defeating the Kraken and rescuing Andromeda. Have you guys seen the 1981 version of Clash of the Titans? You've got to see that. You see, on this channel, I give out homework. And some of the homework is required viewing of movies. For instance, the Spawn animated series, required, that's a required viewing, that's homework. But the 1981 Clash of the Titans is an essential piece of film to familiarize yourself with. I've been suggesting this one for years. Another film that you've got to watch is The Dark Crystal, the original one. Netflix came back years later and did, I'm looking over because my cats are looking to hop the fence. Years later, Netflix released a series that you should watch as well, but you gotta start with the original DVD. Get it on DVD. You should have this in your collection. The Dark Crystal, guys. What's going on in The Dark Crystal is going on in real life. As crazy as that may sound. And I know, they're puppets, right? Or they're like, a lot of the movie was done with puppets. And because of that, many people aren't able to see the validity and the symbolism because, oh, they're puppets, right? It looks like it's for children. You see, stuff goes right over people's heads, guys. The Dark Crystal. The Dark City is another one that you've got to watch. You've got to watch the first 3 Matrix films. The new one sucks. The first Matrix film is the most symbolically dense. What are some other really good films to watch? Jeremiah Johnson with Robert Redford. The Island with Ewan McGregor. Crucial. About symbolism about the cloning operations that are going on here on Earth. You guys, there's people out here that are walking around that are fucking clones. I know that sounds crazy, but the world doesn't work the way that you've been led to think that it does. So we'll do a video in the near future on the required reading. And we'll do an updated video about the required reading and required film to watch, guys, because there is homework on this channel. Start also reading the John Crider books. Start with Vampire's Way, then go to Overcoming the Archon with Alchemy, then read Magnum Opus, then read The Path of the Death Defier. I don't think that's the exact name of the book. John Crider's work is essential. Read his books on servitors, on wealth magic. So anyways, guys, my cats are about to escape. Just a quick message, but I am really excited to do a recommended reading video and a recommended film video because it's been a long time since I've posted one of those, and my lists, plural, are updated. When you watch film, guys, you shouldn't be watching for entertainment. You're watching to decipher messages. And if you watch, for instance, the first Matrix film, that is a modern rendition of ancient mythology and Gnostic wisdom. So, what can also help is to shift the assemblage point before you watch your films, to enter into a really light state of non-ordinary consciousness, just enough so that you can still pay attention and not be completely altered. Do you see what I'm saying? And there's a bunch of legal ways to do that. I'm not going to explain that in this video, but maybe we'll talk about that in the near future. Entering into a state of non-ordinary consciousness can allow you to look at things from a different angle. And viewing film in those non-ordinary states can be really, really powerful, you guys. You see, in our day-to-day consciousness, a lot goes over our head, or it goes right past us. So, you can also go into the inner temple for about 30 minutes to an hour prior to watching films and speak to your subconscious mind and ask it to work with your conscious mind so that you can decipher the symbolism of the films that you're watching. They hide a lot of messages in films, guys. They always have. The 1981 Clash of the Titans has a lot of Kundalini symbolism in it. A lot. And in a sense, Perseus, the struggles that he goes through are they're symbolic struggles that the initiate goes through after they wake up the Kundalini, which is like, that's when that's the tarot card, the Fool, is the beginning of the hero's journey. So you want to also familiarize yourself with the major arcana of the tarot. Start with the major arcana and then work through the minor arcana. You see, the tarot is a highly misunderstood subject. And many of the people talking about tarot, writing books about tarot, teaching about it, they don't understand what it's actually about, guys. I'm not claiming to be some advanced tarot reader because there's people out there that know a hell of a lot more about it than I do. But I'm able to see the overarching roof over what the tarot and what it is. It's largely a symbolic representation of the hero's journey and the awakening of Kundalini, guys. And for instance, like the card The Lovers is a very Kundalini-laden card. Strength, they all are, in a sense. And one thing that we talk about here on this channel is the importance of you familiarizing yourself with the 4 elements: earth, air, fire, and water. And spirit. The pentagram, right? Spirit on top and the 4 elements. One of the greatest ways to begin working with the elements is to familiarize yourself with the minor arcana of the tarot, because it's broken into 4 elemental suits: air, fire, earth, and water. There's so many ways that you can use the tarot to derive information from it, you guys. I don't look at the tarot as like a way of predicting the future, in a sense. I use tarot to gain wisdom. I use tarot also when I'm in really difficult situations and I need some advice. If I just can't figure out how to navigate the situation properly, I seek the tarot for assistance. And it never lies, guys. It never fucking lies. The tarot is incredible. The tarot is also a book of our DNA. The Book of Thoth by Aleister Crowley is like a definitive text on the actual occult sciences of the tarot. Pretty difficult book to read, guys, I'm not going to lie. So, unlike many people, I'm not against Crowley. Most of the Christian propaganda against Crowley, again, these people don't know how to read between the lines. Crowley spoke in metaphors, and he spoke in metaphors largely, in parables, often in a very grotesque way. Crowley believed that if you couldn't see between the lines and read through the bullshit, you don't deserve wisdom. So he hid a lot of occult wisdom in lewd and graphic things. It's not how I would do it, but the Book of the Law is a really interesting book, guys, to read. Thelema in general is interesting. I'm not a Thelemite, but again, I don't just buy into the idea that, Crowley was this evil person. Even if he was evil, it's not going to keep me from studying the material, because there's some gems in that. Right? We've got to stop being afraid of authors and symbols. I get so many comments from people. I recently got one, it was 5 to 7 days ago. Why do you use a satanic symbol in your profile picture? And it's not even a satanic symbol. It's a chaos star. A chaos star is not satanic. And here's the thing, guys. As a Gnostic, and I've been a Gnostic for over a decade, I don't view Satan the same way that most people do. I also don't view Lucifer as an enemy. In fact, most Gnostic sects, S-E-C-T-S, it's kind of a hard word to distinguish between sex and sects, but most Gnostic sects, it's a weird word, it's hard to say, sects, view Lucifer as a good guy. I do as well. And as a Gnostic, I believe that the serpent in the Garden of Eden was the Redeemer coming to wake Adam and Eve up. And that's what you're seeing in the Matrix film, the first Matrix film. It's Trinity is Eve, Adam is Neo, and Morpheus is the serpent. And Trinity, much like Eve in the Bible, leads Adam, who is Neo, to the serpent, aka Morpheus, where the apple of Eden, or the forbidden fruit, the red pill, is offered to Adam, who is Neo. Just like in the Bible, Trinity, Eve, consumes the forbidden fruit, or the apple of Eden, prior to Adam, who is Neo. There's a lot of Promethean symbolism in the first Matrix film, in all of them, but the first is the most symbolically dense, in my opinion. But it went over most people's heads because most people are symbol illiterate. They go and watch movies to be entertained. They don't watch movies to study. Reverend Phil Valentine, Dr. Phil Valentine, always said that when you're watching films, you should have a pen and a pencil. And I agree 100%. I don't like television. I don't watch TV. I don't have cable in this home. I haven't had cable in over a decade. But I do watch movies with the sole intention of deciphering the films. I don't watch it for entertainment, guys. I don't. Shiva! All right, folks, I'm going to get going. Until next time, thanks for watching. Peace be with you all.